My name is Corey Geyer, and I'm a fourth generation owner of Holland Bowl Mill. We're located in Holland, Michigan, and we manufacture wooden bowls, cutting boards, utensils, and a variety of wooden products. A little history on our company: it was actually started in 1906 by the Fuller family in Muskegon. And then my great-grandfather started the original wooden shoe factory here in Holland in 1926. And then in the 1950s, we connected with the Fuller family, who started the bowl mill, and we started selling their wooden bowls at the wooden shoe factory in our different shops. And then in the early 1980s, the Fuller family connected with my dad and asked us if we were interested in purchasing the bowl mill. We did at that time. We moved it behind the wooden shoe factory on US 31 and 16th Street and operated there for about the next 10 years. Unfortunately, at that time, we had to close down the shoe, and we moved the bowl mill to our existing location at 120 James Street. Took us about a year to build our lathes, design the building for what we do. We opened our doors in 2001. We make 800 to 1,000 bowls a week. We're the largest manufacturer of wooden bowls in the United States. Our products are carried in about 350 stores. We really like to concentrate on specialty kitchen stores, mom and pop shops. We do have a few larger partners: Room and Board, Farmhouse Pottery, Hudson Grace, and then we have a large online presence too, website, Amazon, Etsy. We do a ton of private branding. We offer free engraving. A couple fun facts about our company is we were featured on the How It's Made show on the Discovering Science channel in 2007. We're also featured on the New York Times gift guide in 2013. From here, look forward to kind of showing you guys our process. So our bowl making process starts with working with different tree services and mills all across Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. We start with large trees, 8 to 14 foot in length, at least 16 inches in diameter on the small end, up to 32 inches in diameter on the big end. We work with various hardwoods: beech, walnut, maple, cherry, ash, and we get those logs delivered to us weekly. From there, they get loaded up onto a log deck. First step is getting power washed and cleaned off, and then they get dropped down into the log trough. From there, they're cut into what we call 2-foot blocks. They're rolled down the rollers down to Bob on the rip saw, who's cutting them into the larger bowl blanks that will be turned on our large lathe. Excess wood that can't be utilized for the large blanks is rolled down the other rollers down to the bandsaw and cut into small blanks for the small lathe. As you can see in the back mill, we have a large conveyor system that all the shavings will get run through. They go outside to a trailer, and we donate that to local horse farms. We're a zero waste company, so we want to make sure we're utilizing every part of the tree. If it can't be made into the bowls, it's made into cutting boards, utensils, grilling planks, grilling chips, trees. We're always trying to come up with different ways to utilize all of our wood. Excess wood that we can't use is sold for firewood. So let's walk over to the large lathe. This is kind of our bread and butter and main machine. This is turning our 20-inch, 17-inch, 15-inch, 12-inch, and 9-inch bowls. We do what's called nested turning, meaning you get numerous bowls out of each bowl blank. The size of the blank is dictated on the size log you start with and the quality. We also have the smaller lathe where we're turning the 10-inch, 8-inch, 7-inch, and 6-inch bowls. We also have our whole utensil production here in back too. Chase and Cole are running that. We have a CNC machine that assists the utensil program. We make 20 different styles, from spoons, ladles, skimmers, to utensil sets. And we're always trying to come up with new ones. After the bowls are made, they go onto a steam room cart. In a typical day, we'll make 150 to 200 bowls. From there, they'll go into the steam room at 180 degrees for 4 hours. That's steaming out some of the sap and actually putting more moisture into the bowls, and mainly preventing cracking and warping. Once the bowls come out of the steam room, they'll air dry for typically about 4 weeks. Our goal is to get them down to about 8% moisture content. And then once they're fully dry, they'll go into the sanding room, where they go through a 6-step process. First step is going to be the table disker. The bowl's going to come in, it's going to be warped a little bit, it's going to be disked down so it sits completely flat. From there, goes to the automatic inside sander, backside sander, gets sanded completely, and then another disker, bottom machine, and rimmed. So there's a lot of different steps that go into finishing every bowl. And then after the sanding room, they get graded for quality. First quality will be a bowl with no imperfections, what you'd see like on a retail website. Number 2 could be a little misshaped or have a small knot in it. A lot of those with the knots will dig out and then we'll fill with wood putty. And those are sold to different artists across the United States, are using that as kind of their canvas and painting over the wood putty. Third quality would be a larger knot or hole, kind of a more primitive look. And then once they're graded, they'll be shipped off to their destination unfinished or finished here on site in our food safe mineral oil, which makes them food safe to use. We make a product in-house called bees oil, which is a mixture of food safe mineral oil and beeswax. And that's what we also use on our bowls, and that's what we recommend periodically retreating your woodenware with. So we do a lot of private branding here at the Bowl Mill. We work with about 350 stores, and a lot of those stores that we work with will actually end up putting their logo on the underside. For example, here is one of our larger partners out of Vermont called Farmhouse Pottery. They carry a lot of our wooden bowls, cutting boards, utensils. We've been partnered with them for about 6 years or so. Probably my favorite partner that we work with is Room and Board. They're based out of Minneapolis. They really put a high value on made in America. We do exclusive line with them. This is a kind of a modern rim style to it, so it makes it exclusive and unique to Room and Board. This bowl is actually walnut. The cool thing about walnut is a lot of times you'll have that beautiful sapwood running through the middle, and then the next bowl, depending on where it comes out of the tree, might be more all dark heartwood. So each customer is kind of a little different in what they like. Some people prefer that two-tone look. The next one might prefer that all heartwood. Also have one of our main partners in Michigan, Cherry Republic. We've been working with them since the 1990s. They have 7 stores throughout Michigan, actually a store here in Holland too. It's kind of our biggest partner in the state of Michigan. I'm gonna walk over here. I'll show you guys kind of a couple different unique bowl styles we do. This order here is actually going to Napa, California for restaurants. We work with a lot of different restaurants who will use our boards as cheese boards or bowls in their restaurant. So here's a fun order we're doing for a gentleman who's retiring from Mary Free Bed in Grand Rapids. So this is a set of coasters that has engraved on it, cheers to 34 years, and then a torched bottle opener. So we're always, again, trying to come up with different ways that we can utilize all of our wood. We give a lot of creative freedom to our employees to come up with different designs, and which is a lot of fun. We have our Michigan-shaped bowl. So this would have came out of a traditional 12-inch bowl that had a defect or crack in it. We want to be able to utilize that, so we cut around that crack into the Michigan bowl so we can still utilize that piece. We also make heart bowls and 4-corner bowls. One of our more unique and most popular products, this is a really large one, but a fruit bowl. The air circulation helps keep the fruit fresh longer. Behind that will be some of our rustic trees. We have different utensils and spoons. We walk over here, I can show you some of our different charcuterie boards. We do boards with, juice grooves, larger ones with hardware. Most of the time we'll take the bark off. Sometimes we will leave it on. We'll have tubs lined up on this whole table. So 9 across. We'll set these 9 valves so they pour at the exact same speed, which is key. Otherwise you'll have a mess really quickly. And then it pours as a liquid, then it'll harden into our bees oil in about an hour or so. Again, only 2 ingredients, mineral oil and wax. This is what we treat all of our bowls with, our cutting boards, and this is what we recommend periodically retreating your woodenware with. So after, using your bowl or cutting board, you're gonna wash with warm water and soap, and then eventually retreat it with this. So we do a lot of advertising for locally, being in Holland, it's a really popular tourist town, so we work with all the local visitors bureaus, the West Coast Chambers, all the travel magazines to try to get people into our store and walk through for our tours. We really put an emphasis on that over the last couple of years. Before we didn't really have a retail store, we maybe did $10,000 a year. After we implemented a lot of different strategies, now we're doing $300,000 plus a year in sales and walk-in. Online, we do a ton of SEO work. We work with a company out of Grand Rapids called Valorous Circle, who kind of assists with that. We just rebranded our website. We do, social media, Instagram, Facebook. We're also very blessed to be kind of a very unique business where there's not as much competition as the normal company. So we kind of have the market cornered in a way. We do Google AdWords a decent amount. We do social media ads. We've started doing that a lot more over the last year or so. We started doing geofencing this year around about a 20-mile radius around Holland to try to get people to come into our store, which was very successful. We do that at the peak of tourism season, and we typically do that Thursday through Saturday. Those are kind of the main ways. We also have different rep groups across the United States who rep our products for our wholesale business. We also do a ton of corporate. We actually just launched a new realtor program where we sent out an email to about 60,000 realtors across Michigan, across the United States. And then we created a custom landing page that would bring them to that, and they get 20% off their order. That has been very successful. Also, a huge part of our business is working with affiliates. We work with 3 main ones, one called the Salad Lab, based out of California. She uses our bowls to make different unique salads. She has over 1.6 million followers on TikTok, so that's been really, really fun. And then we work with a Nutmeg Notebook, who is a whole food plant-based group, and they utilize our bowls for chopping, and that has been huge. I think last year through that affiliate we did over $130,000. We pay that an 8% commission rate, but as kind of the market has changed, we're really going to keep putting an emphasis on working with different affiliates and trying to grow that even more in the next years to come. 2022, we were very blessed. We did about $2.8 million in sales. We have 22 employees. Again, we're family owned. I'm 4th generation. And that's a little inside look into the bowl mill. So we in back have our main 2 lathes. Our large lathe was built in 2001. Took us about a year to build. That was actually my dad and one of his good friends who's an engineer who kind of put that together. It luckily is an incredible machine. We haven't really had much maintenance on it over the years. It was very, very well built. One of a kind, the only one that's ever been made. We just started making utensils over the last couple years, so all the utensil equipment is brand new. We got most of that through Grizzly. We try to keep most of our maintenance in-house. Michael in back is kind of our maintenance manager, which is very helpful, so we don't have to source that out too much. A couple times a month you might run into a small thing on a sanding machine or something in the back, but luckily we don't run into too many issues. As we've continued to grow, retainment is a huge thing, so we've really put an emphasis on treating our employees really well. So we have, a retirement program that we offer, a 3% match. We also do health insurance, dental, vision. We actually just upgraded that where we're paying for 75% of our employees' health insurance and then 50% of dependents, which has been huge for us. I mean, the more you show your employees that you care about them, I believe the retainment is going to be much better, especially for a unique company like us, where it takes a lot to train employees. We really need to have high retainment. Taking care of our employees, doing bonuses. It's a fun family atmosphere. Everyone's birthday, we'll do a lunch celebration. But I think treating your employees like family goes a long ways, and that way they'll give it all for your company. We want to keep expanding. One things that we have in the works is we do a little bit of custom furniture, like console tables, entryway benches, coffee tables, and I really want to keep expanding that. We just haven't had the space on site. But recently, the neighbors to the east of us moved out, and we were able to take over some new space. So right now, this kind of is just a storage space that we utilize for different wood. But my goal is within the next 2 years to turn that into a high-end showroom furniture right on site, so we can have customers come in. We'll have a full display of the different things we can do, and then from there we can do custom pieces also. I think that's going to tend to take us to the next level, is even expanding our product line more. The bowls is always going to be our bread and butter and what we're known for, and most of our income, but as we can kind of expand and utilize all the wood, so we're really excited about that. For us, one of the main reasons that we've been successful and that I would implement, say if I was starting this company from day one and it was a new start, is quality, the craftsmanship, the made in, right now it's huge, is the made in America. People are trying to get away from plastic. They're trying to work with sustainable companies we have a lifetime guarantee on all of our bowls. So that's a huge thing. It's a heirloom piece that you can kind of cherish and pass down from generation to generation. And then also surrounding yourself with the right people. That's key for me, as I wear a lot of hats, but also is trusting my employees that they know what to do and how to do their job. That has been huge for us, is delegating tasks and working as a team, because if you do that, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful. So 3 things that I would recommend for a new startup or entrepreneur is, number 1, being patient and knowing that you're not going to have success right from the start. You're going to have some tough times. You're going to have some sleepless nights. It might wear on your family a little bit, but you got to just stick with it and know that if you put in the hard work, you're selling a good product, you're utilizing good selling channels, that eventually good things will happen, but you have to be patient with it. Number 2 is making sure that you surround yourself with other people who love your brand, love what you're doing, are gonna be there for you and want to see your company grow. That is gonna be huge for you. And number 3, I would say, is as you continue to grow, is taking care of your employees, making sure that they know that you care for them, that you want the best for them. And that's by, if you're able to, offering different benefits for them. And I think if you do those 3 things, that would be a good starting point for any new entrepreneur. If you want to learn more about Holland Bowl Mill, you can visit us at www.hollandbowl, BOWL, mill, MILL.com. You'll see our full products. We also have a cool video page where you can watch more videos on our process. We do a free engraving on all of our products. So if you need a unique, wedding or anniversary gift, keep us in mind, and thanks for watching.